Hi guys, welcome back to Fairgrounds Homestead. And even though we are on the second day of August, we're already thinking about winter and the projects that need to get done and the things that we're going to need to do now so that it will take us into the winter. And our number one priority is wood. We have a wood stove in our cabin, and that is how we heat our cabin in the winter time. So today we're going to be taking our load of wood that we got yesterday, which is about a cord, and we have to stack it up inside of our barn here, or inside of our shop, so that it stays dry for the winter time. So you guys get to come along and watch us sweat a little bit as we load it up and get it stacked inside. We'll take you along for the journey and a couple other projects that we got going on today to, again, get us into the winter time.
All in all, that was about 5 loads of wood, and it took us maybe 20 minutes to get it done.
All done.
My emergency wood.
Got anything to say?
Nice to have friends that have tree businesses. And what he does, what he gets, cuts up, he takes home, cuts it up, splits it, and
Sells it.
sells it. And pretty decent hardwood, not a bunch of old, he doesn't slip a bunch of pine in on you and stuff like that. So it's all good oak and elm and maple. So makes a big difference on how much coals you got in your firebox on your wood stove. But,
Alright, you done?
yep.
Hi guys, well it's later in the day. We actually, after we put the wood away, we ran some errands and ate some lunch and stayed in the house because it's been hot here in Middle Tennessee. Last week was a record scorcher, so we've been kind of trying to stay inside during the heat of the day and we'll come and finish out our chores later in the evening. One of the chores that we need to take care of is this tree. This isn't something that's going to get done today. It's going to get something that's done in the winter time. And it's summer, and now is when we need to take care of this.
Thing is, we don't know what killed it, but it's slowly been dying off, and we've been cutting it back. And we're just going to have to, cicada?
There's a bunch.
We're just going to have to remove
The shell of the cicada. It's really cool.
some of this, because it's still got another piece of it that's still alive. But, you know, when the weather gets bad and we get storms, the one beside it and this one both had their tops twisted out this past spring with some of the storms that came through. I guess they got weakened by the ice when we had all the ice, and then when those storms came through with blowing like 60, 70 mile an hour, it snapped the top out. Hunter and I, we had to get a rope on it and take it and tie to it with the truck and pull the whole top out of the tree. So I'm standing here looking, I can see more over on that other red oak over there that's snapped off. But it's just stuff that, you know, it's widowmakers, and eventually it's going to fall down, and hopefully you hope you're not underneath it. But, so we're just going to mark some of this while we can, because we'll know that's all.
Because in the summertime, it's leafed out, so we know it's alive and now it's dead. So we can mark it as to what's dead. So in the fall and in the winter, when the tree is dormant, we can cut off the dead and still allow the tree to live.
We hope.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah, just. I wonder how much of this middle one is going to have to come off.
I don't know. This limb right here
Yeah.
looks pretty bad. Here. I mean, it's
Well, that's the end of that thing.
okay. Well, I got another. We're marking it with tomato tape because it works.
It lasts.
Here's the back side of the tree.
Yeah, this one earlier, it had leaves on it, but now you can see it's already starting to get lichen growing up that main stalk there. And we'll just take that whole thing off there.
Yeah.
If that one falls on somebody, that's going to hurt something.
We also got that little branch right there.
What, that one?
Yeah, you want to mark this so we don't forget.
Y'all better take that one off. That one's dead as a bark falling off.
Trying to see if there's any more. I guess I could have probably marked this down here. This one up above it can come off.
Yeah. Is that even going to leave anything?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of this one right here. We'll leave that one. We'll leave a couple small pieces, but not many.
Well, yeah, that's going to be pretty much not a lot of tree left, but I hate cutting down anything that's got green on it. I mean, that's one reason we bought the property, because it's got a lot of trees on it. And like old, mature oaks, you know, we've still got about probably 6 acres of hardwoods, which while everybody else is cutting theirs to the ground around us, we're going to be one of the few that still has trees. So, well, plan and work ahead for later.
Some of these projects are best done in the fall and the winter time, just so you can, when, what's not leafing out anymore, it's dead, and it needs to come down. And sometimes it's just too stinking hot to do it in the summer. We had a huge storm come through Mother's Day weekend and blow a bunch of trees down in about the 6 acres that we have that's wooded, and those we plan on getting out in the wintertime if we can for firewood. But again, that's best done in the fall and the winter. That's not something you want to do in the summertime.
Between the heat, getting heat stroke down there, trying to get wood out of the bottoms and the ticks eating you alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fun.
And the poison ivy.
Yeah.
It's just easier to do it where you can see it and see what you're working with. It's also less bugs, less spiders, things like that that you can handle. And it gives the trees time to actually just die off and dry out a little bit before we go and pull them out. So that helps too.
Yeah. But we have, you know, we have firewood stored for the winter. We're already getting a pretty good bit. But we still have probably 4 standing dead trees that we have as backup in case we get an extra cold winter. I can always drop those. And they're pretty close to some of the trails that I've cut into the woods. So we can at least get them out, load them in the wagon, and bring the rounds up with the mower. So easier than dragging them by hand, I can tell you that.
These are all things, though, that you should think about when you have your homestead or when you start your homestead, that you're always looking forward to the next season, and not because you want to sometimes, but because you need to think about what needs to get done now to prepare you for that time.
Yeah, because I mean, it'll be 85 degrees one day and you'll get a cold front come through and it's 40 and you're like, wow, I'd sure like to make a fire.
So
Yeah, but we keep an eye on the weather, and it's just the thing is we don't get a whole lot of snow, and we got a little more ice this past winter than we did the year before.
yeah.
I guess they've had years where they've had really bad ice storms here, but
We're curious to see if it's going to be a cold one because the hickory nuts have started falling, you said.
Yep.
And sometimes the acorns start falling. And usually that's a sign that winter's coming. But we don't know.
Yeah.
It was mild last year. Who knows about this one? So on to our next project. You guys think I have something, don't you? But I don't. Do I?